See, someday, you know it's a rough day when we don't play that little song. You know what I mean?
That's only on happy days.
That's only on happy days.
There's just a lot going on, and it's not stopping.
This has been, what a day, what a week, what a month.
What
you
a
know,
year.
really, what a year it's been. It's wild, and we've had some warnings extended, right? For the Harris County warning.
Yes, till 11:30, and then I believe the one in Galveston actually just expired at 11.
Okay,
which
yeah.
is good.
It was crazy when I came in. Well, obviously, you know, when I woke up this morning, I had some warnings that were already on my phone. I said, "Oh man!" So, you know, like many of you, checked my Fox 26 weather app, and I said, "Oh man, no, it's going to be one of those days." And then it just kept coming and coming, and it started in Baytown real early this morning, and then kind of worked its way down to the south into Galveston County and Chambers County. So we're trying to chase that. So our reporter Shelby Rose, that we're going to hear from here in a minute, she was all over the place. So she and her photographer started in Mont Belvieu, went to Baytown, went down to LaPorte, went to Dickinson, went to Lamarck and Texas City, and then she called me and said, "We're in Texas City. There's nothing happening."
And of course, it's not raining. Even though the folks that live there were like, "If you would have come an hour ago."
She says, "So what do I do?" And I said, "You know what? I think you should maybe drive back into town because it was starting to fire up."
It's just crazy that the rain picks a place that it's going to just park over, and then you're going to get several inches. Several.
It was just, the sky just opened up.
And we've been seeing a lot more lightning too.
Today compared to previous days, absolutely.
Yeah, especially in the morning. I mean, I was seeing some thunder and lightning outside my house this morning. It's like, okay, that means you can't take the dog on a walk. You know, it's like all these things that when lightning's added into it.
Yeah.
Because, and thankfully down the folks that were at Texans training camp today, like our very own Delon, which we'll hear from in a minute, no lightning. So they were just, you know, you feel like a sponge, but.
Well, and he's coming up right here in a few minutes, but I told Delon yesterday, he said they're sending him to Texas training camp because Nate is out this week. And so, and plus, you know, he's wanted to go to Texas training camp, get acquainted and everything.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And so I said, you know, it's going to rain tomorrow. And he was like, "Oh, gosh, okay." He looked deflated.
Yeah.
And then, but I think it still kind of catches you off guard because like you said, it formed so fast. I mean, I think Delon and everybody else, you know, hundreds of other people were down there for the training camp. And it kind of started off as like a little drizzle. It wasn't that bad. And then it really got heavy really fast.
Really fast. And everybody's laughing in the newsroom because right when Delon and Coco got off, you can hear Coco go, "Oh no!"
They were running. And then I looked on the radar and it was like, boom. I mean, this thing
right
really
there.
Just, fired up right on top of them. So maybe you got caught in something like that today. There were a lot of roadways that were, you know, covered in water. And so,
we should have video.
Did we want to?
Oh, I guess we can go to graphics first.
Allison is the producer of the show today. So what are we doing first?
We can do some graphics.
Okay.
So we have a little tour of the radar for you, and I might have to back it up a little bit. But so this is what's going on down in Galveston, League City, Angleton, Lake Jackson. If I just mentioned your town, guess what? You're actually not seeing rain right now. Do you want to just put it at the first radar?
I think it was. Well, hold on. I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Well, we had a lot. Yeah. So if I started at the beginning here, that's not what I wanted to show you. Boy, we got our act together today, don't we? Wait, hit the button. Yeah,
okay,
there we go.
Okay, perfect. So take a look at this. Dark, gloomy, dreary, wet. Thankfully, it doesn't look like any of the feeder roads. This is right outside our studios, so 59, 69 there. They are not flooded, which is great. But, you know, lots of other feeder roads are. I think the only silver lining with all of this is that it actually feels pretty nice outside. Minus the humidity,
Yeah,
though.
minus the humidity, but 76 degrees at 11 a.m. in July.
Yes,
is
July
rare.
26th at that.
Definitely rare.
Oh, we'll take that all day long. So the rain is actually starting to thin, which is great
Thank
news.
goodness. Oh my gosh, just in time. Our models, as we've been kind of, I was being, just telling everybody this morning, look, the models are doing terrible.
Yeah.
They just were not picking on what was happening today. But I will say they kind of did show it dying down a little bit. So hopefully that's the...
And I hope the atmosphere is just spent.
Yeah, it'll get kind of worked over and kind of lose a lot of its energy.
So here is a flash flood warning that it looks like they must have just
Well, it looks like they
expired
just
it.
changed it over to this aerial flood
Okay,
warning, which is less severe. They must have...
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that move because when they upgraded it to the flash flood warning, I was kind of like, wow.
Yeah, especially because we didn't see as much rain as other spots did. So that's good news. So at least the flash flood warning has, I guess, been changed. And then, okay, good. So the Galveston one did expire at 11. So we actually maybe only have one more in effect. But the good news is there's not going to be much more heavy rain, at least in the short term, out where the warnings were. But let's take you out west. So I-10, Columbus to Sealy, and starting to inch maybe a bit close to Belleville, we have some of those pockets of heavy rain. And when we see the reds and even some spots maybe trying to turn purple, that's when we're talking about really heavy rain, meaning if you're driving through it, it's blinding. You can't see. The people driving in front of you are spitting up so much water on the back end on your windshield anyway. So it's kind of like a double whammy that you really just need to be safe if you are planning on driving in that. Now there is some moderate rain, Conroe to Willis, even the Woodlands and Spring, but it does look like things are starting to skinny up, which is great news. Rockport to Port Lavaca, Palacios, and then we showed you what's out toward Galveston. So I think we'll take things, a bit on the quiet side, but let's show you some of that video from earlier. And this was out at
Yeah, this was Gulf Freeway down in Lamarck, which is down past Dickinson, like a little closer to Galveston. But this was one of those where you could see those cars off in the distance. Well, there's a car getting towed. You know what I mean? There's a car getting towed, and there's some cars off in the distance that did not make it through the water. There were a lot of lifted trucks, that made it through. We were just talking about lifted trucks.
Yes, we were.
There were some lifted trucks that made it through, some SUVs that made it through, and some lower cars that didn't.
It's just terrible because, especially for the folks in the sedans, you made it through the derecho, you made it through Barrel, and then now it's this flooding that's what takes your car.
Yeah, and even that last car there, you're not supposed to do that because it can get sucked up into the look. I'm not a mechanic, but they say the air intake or whatever, it gets pulled in there, and then if any of it gets sucked into the engine, then you're really in trouble, and it can kind of just brick the car.
And this is just one spot, but there were several other locations that were likely like this that we just didn't get video of. But, the rain's not going to stop. Looking at the next few days, still some more. So please just be safe. We promise some sunshine is on the horizon.
It occurred to me today when I was watching that video, when it was happening live, that there needs to be some additional, so we have turn around, don't drown, right? Which of course, especially when it's dark out, and you're coming up on some deep water, or you don't know how deep the water is, I should say, day or night. But in a scenario like that, where it's not sweeping cars away deep, then it's not really turn around, don't drown. It's stop and then figure out what to do. But they never tell you what to do. So it's if you've got somewhere to go, and let's say it's an emergency, and you can't drive through that portion of the feeder road, but maybe there's a way around. What I don't know what we should have a guest on Forecasting with Friends,
we can
like a police officer or something, to tell you what should you do, because if you're just stuck there, I've seen some people just literally just back it up and then go to some street.
But I know, but then what do you do when there's cars behind you?
There's cars behind you. I know it's a big. I'm not sure what the solution is. I really don't. I mean, I honestly, if it's me and I'm there all by myself, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to back it up and go find some other way to go.
Yeah. Just go on the freeway and go down a few more.
But I know you're not supposed to do that, you know, for traffic and, you know.
Yes, but
and I wouldn't want to. I'm not saying I would put anybody's, you know, in danger.
No,
I just mean sometimes
if
if you're alone, you know, it's like, what else are you going to do?
You
They
have
say,
to.
I mean, you're just going to sit there all day and watch the water. So
no, because then you're stuck in your car when it gets high, like in
what
a
if it
situation
rises
like
more?
Beryl.
I know. What if it rises more? So, turn around, don't drown is a nice rhyme, and it is a good reminder for folks not to take their chances going into water. But as a practical matter, it's not. It doesn't give a whole lot of advice on what to do.
Yes,
so
we need to
work.
know.
We should work on that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we should
I
definitely.
mean, and maybe if you do it, then everybody else will do it. So then everybody
Yeah.
else just turned.
Or we should just all buy lifted pickup trucks. There was years ago. There was I mean, we flood constantly, but there was a flood. There was an intersection like over in Stafford or Sugar Land or something that was totally flooded, like kind of higher than knee high, you know, water. And we were watching as people were making their way through, and somebody in a Toyota Tundra just plowed through it, and we were watching like, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? And boom, he went right through it. It was like up over the hood, yeah.
Oh.
And then he made it. He kept going, and then I said on the air, oh, I'm going to get me a Tundra, you know? And I never did. I never did, but it was a good advertisement for Toyota, and it was like funny, like a long time after that, our chief editor, John Heads, was like, did you get the Tundra yet? Like, are you going to get the Tundra?
He's like, we need to know.
So actually, like, I mean, I've had the same car forever, but it occurs to me, like, every once in a while, like, maybe I should get that Tundra, but they're so expensive now, you know?
It is crazy.
But it's like, in Houston, you do get those times where it's like, God, I wish I had a Jeep Wrangler or something, or I wish I had a pickup truck.
Well, and the pickup trucks are great. You don't realize how much big stuff you need to move until you don't have one, and you're like,
especially when you have a new house.
Yes, exactly.
You got to move stuff around.
Patio furniture, the whole deal.
So do we? You want to check in with Shelby, or okay? So Shelby Rose was, like I said earlier, was chasing the weather all morning long.
Poor thing.
So here's her report.
It has certainly been a flooding-filled Friday all over the Houston metro area. We have been tracking this storm across the entire viewing area this morning, and the scene is exactly like this in so many places. Feeders, other roadways just inundated with water. Thankfully, right here, we're on I-45 at Airline Drive North. This is passable at the moment, but we have been getting consistent rain throughout the last several hours, and it has been a lot of the same all over. We have been majority in the southern part of the area throughout the morning. So think Mont Bellevue, Bay City, Texas City, League City. We have seen stalled out cars, closed roadways, just because of the massive amount of rainfall that this area has gotten over the last several hours. A lot of the police officers saying they were having trouble getting through to the roads before they were able to close them. And so the message has been the same every single time we get a massive amount of rain, is that if you come across a roadway that you think might be flooded, don't try to risk it. You don't really know how deep it is until it is too late. So of course, be safe, Houston. Allison?
So much, Shelby, for bearing the bad weather for us.
Yeah, she's got to go home and dry out.
I know.
All right, coming up after this short break, the second day in a row of the football block.
Football Friday.
A little change over time, and the weather is
Fox 26 News. The
Anonymous.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
All right, the football block.
Can you tell we're excited?
I know, it's almost football. The Texans are playing in like 2 weeks or something
That's
for the first preseason game.
But still, it's something.
It's something.
Because we're in this drought, literally, where if you're not a baseball fan,
That always hits me because, like, after football season, you have basketball
and hockey.
Yeah, and hockey, yeah. Which,
like the
which
two
the Panthers
finals.
won this year. The Florida Panthers won this
Yeah.
year. So, you know, you have hockey, you have basketball, and then it's sort of like the summer doldrums, you know, where all you can talk about in football is who might have got traded or whatever.
Who, is recovering from an injury.
Yeah, who's recovering from an injury.
And there is golf. I'll give us that. But I will say, after the Masters, there's not a ton of really great tournaments.
Well, we have Texans training camp that's been open to the public a few of the last few days. And so the station sent our anchor, Delon Dillard, down there into the elements.
He was feeling it today.
Yeah, he definitely was. So here's his report.
So obviously not much will stop a determined Texans fan, not even rain throughout this entire morning. We are here at NRG Park where fans have been gathering throughout the day, celebrating and really watching the Texans as they prepare for this upcoming football season, which is going to be highly anticipated because we have so many weapons on the field this season, right? I have been speaking with people who have gotten here since about 3 o'clock this morning. So many people waited in line. I talked to people who drove as far as Austin just to be here, to experience this, to see the Texans. This is a season everybody is really waiting for, and we're going to see what they're going to do, right? It is exciting to see all this happening right now. As many of you all know, this is also my very first Texans season here too, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. This is my first practice game, my first meeting here with them, so I'm looking forward to seeing what all will happen here. But so many fans still out here. The rain did not stop, and you see people out here walking in with their umbrellas, with their ponchos. Everybody excited to see what the Texans will do. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are looking forward to it. So many more days to get out here for training camp as well if you do want to get out here and maybe avoid the rain. Maybe sometime next week will be better for you. Reporting at NRG, Delon Dillard, Fox 26 News.
Wise words.
He was down there. It was like, because we went to him several times this morning. Sometimes it was just a drizzle and it kind of went, and then, you know, the sky just opened up we had a special guest because Coco Dominguez was down there.
Yes.
She loves football.
Yes.
And so she happened to be down there, and they both just got drenched.
I just laughed, though, with the shoes and that you...
Yes. Well, I was giving him a hard time because he wore these real fancy Jordans, you know, and you don't want to get those things all wet.
Oh, no.
Sloppy and muddy. So, but they did. So hopefully he's got one of those, you know how they always make you buy the shoe cleaner whenever you buy some fancy shoes?
Yeah. Well, I think we've all learned our lesson that you probably have some drenched shoes that you need to.
You know, a lot of like my youngest daughter for Christmas, she wanted a pair of Jordans.
Really?
And she wanted a certain color, and it was like very specific. And we went all over looking for it because we wanted to get her to this exact one. But long story short, I think a lot of people now don't know what Jordans, like, that there was a guy named Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? And that these were like his
why
shoes.
they were named after him.
Why they're called Jordans, because she had no idea. And
she
so
just said, "Oh, they're Jordans."
They're Jordans, yeah. And so because those are like the coolest shoes to have. So I told her, I said, well, here's Michael Jordan, and he was the first one really to like have these signature shoes and stuff. And but now they're like collector's items. I mean, if you get the really fancy ones, so you don't want to wear them.
No.
If it's going to be pouring down rain, which is why you need the Fox 26 weather app on your phone.
It's just a lesson, and it's a great one. And I mean, we get notified all the time, but Lightning Tracker is so awesome, especially if you have kiddos. I mean, obviously they're not having soccer practice right now, but you know, down the line when they are, if there's lightning, you know, 10, 5, 3 miles away, you can be like, okay, get the team inside.
I got an alert, like on my way to work this morning, it came up and it said, a lightning strike has been detected, you know, 8.1 miles from your location or something. It just came up on the phone. And it's good to just alert you like, oh, okay, maybe I need to pay closer attention, you know.
It's really great. And Delon would have brought his umbrella and would have brought covers for his shoes. So next time.
I would say, you know, in his defense, well, you too, like ever since you arrived here, the weather's been just
nuts,
awful. It's been crazy, you know, and the same thing with Delon, you know, it's, and then like Anthony Antoine, our nighttime anchor, when he arrived, we were in the midst of 105 to 109 degree days.
And where did he come from? Do you remember?
He was in, he grew up in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Bradley, do you know where he was before here? I think he was up there somewhere, wasn't he? I'm not sure, but anyway, he grew up in New Jersey.
So probably not used to this by any means.
No, and so the heat was crazy, and then we went through, you know, just a snap freeze, you know, in January, and then we've already had our first hurricane and severe weather and derecho and all of that stuff. So
because I remember, I'm a big University of Michigan fan, and when they came and won the national championship, there were tornado warnings that night.
Oh, yeah.
And there was like a leak in the roof at NRG. I mean, I just remember, and that was what, like the first week of January?
Yeah. Isn't it? It's ridiculous.
It's been crazy.
It's been too much.
But guys, we've made it together with friends.
That's, yeah, you got to lean on your friends when the weather gets like this. I just hope we don't start losing people, because it's like, I could see how we've had a lot of people who've moved here from California. So, you know, welcome, because, you know, California got real expensive and a lot of people were able to sell their homes for like gobs of money and come here and join, you know, our Texas lifestyle and everything, which has gotten
no state income tax.
Right, no state income tax. Although it has gotten more expensive, the houses and stuff. But they're probably here like, what did I get myself into? You know? So for those of you who might be feeling like that, it's not like this all the time. Like really, there's some years where like not that much happens.
Which is crazy
to
really, think about.
There's some years, like last year we didn't have any hurricanes. The big story last year was the heat. And, you know, some years we have a mild winter, so.
But we're in this transition into likely a La Nina pattern. So I think the atmosphere is just like, what is going on? But once we get into it, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh gosh, we still have a long hurricane season ahead too.
Yeah,
but, you know, maybe we've met our quota. But yeah, so for a lot of our new visitors, I bet they're kind of like, is it really this bad, you know? And so.
No,
it's not this bad all the time.
We're going to get through it.
We'll make it through with a little help from our friends. Definitely.
On your favorite show.
On your favorite show.
Well, coming up, we're going to have a little bit of details on what we can expect longer term, that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
We can promise you.
We can see the light, and it's a hot one. All right, back in a couple.
Fox 26 News.
Anonymous.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at a wide view of the radar. We are seeing some relief in select areas like Jackson to Alvin, even Galveston right now, Cleveland. Elsewhere, mainly through Houston, it's going to be light rain, but the thing is, it's just consistent. It's not stopping. So, you know, if you wanted to maybe run out the door really quick, you're probably still going to need that umbrella, rain jacket. We are seeing some heavier rain right along I-10 here, heading towards Sealy, south of Belleville, and even south of Brenham right now. And the thing is, we're likely going to be seeing still a lot more rain possible. So our flash flood risk is elevated once again today. Well, reason being, we've already seen 5 to nearly 9 inches of rain falling just so far today. That does not include anything earlier than 12 o'clock midnight. And it looks like near Baytown really got the brunt of it, even moving into Galveston County. Cypress saw nearly 5 inches. That was a little bit later this morning. But I do want to take you out to what we are seeing, really why we are seeing this. Dip in the jet stream, area of low pressure to our north, is causing all the tropical moisture that we're seeing coming in from the Gulf basically has nowhere else to go except rain overhead. And we're likely going to be seeing the potential for that flooding continue in spots today. Then I will say things are pretty quiet overnight, but take a look at this round of heavy rain starting along the coast, pushing inland by tomorrow morning. And it looks like we actually could be seeing some of that clearing by about lunchtime. But either way, you guys keep your Fox 26 weather app handy and have a great rest of your weekend.